is good, everybody, and welcome to Weekday Wagers. My name is Mark Wallace. I am so glad that you are able to join us here on this Tuesday afternoon. We have got so much to dive into. Look, I'm going to be chatting with Robbie here in just a minute. We're going to go over this Dallas Cowboy game. Is this the Dallas Cowboys that everybody hopes would show up and stay there for the rest of the year? Let's find out. I can't wait to hear his perspective on that. We've got a ton of college football, college basketball, NBA, hockey, of all the things, right? We still got hockey to do. And unfortunately, we're going to have to reset a couple of things after last night's debacle. Specifically, let's start with our plays. That's just disgusting. And yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. DG lost on the hook. Sandro Mambo, whatever his last name is, finished with 7 points, so we lost there. But you know what? Enough of that. Let's talk about some positive things. Robbie, how are you, sir?
Great, sir. I saw your plays. Honestly, I had CD Lamb's over 26.5 longest catch. So if I had been on the show yesterday, there'd been another X. So I did get his touchdown. Thank God. But other than that, yeah, what a night.
Yeah, it's funny. You and I were talking before we came on. I should have gone with Pickens all the way because, wow, is all I can say. Wow. He had a hell of a game. I'm interested to hear from your perspective, both as a Cowboys fan and as a capper. Any takeaways from last night's game? I mean, I know Joe is still in the chat saying that Cowboys are still bums, but what is your thought on that?
Yeah, he's about 50% right. I think the defensive line showed up and looked a lot better. I also attribute that to the Raiders suck, as Joe alluded to. Their offensive line was terrible, and Geno's a terrible quarterback who, even if he had a good offensive line, I don't think it would have mattered. And as a fan, I was happy to see them show up and show out for their fallen brother. I thought that was a good showing because even though the Raiders suck, we usually play down to competition, and we didn't play down to competition last night. We took care of business.
And that's kind of the thing that I was going to point out is that it really – the Cowboys' defensive mindset and the ability to stay at the level that they wanted to play, not the level that they needed to play to get the job done. And I think that gap has been such a huge challenge for Dallas, both offensively and defensively. But last night they really showed that they had that focus, they kept it, and everything was – if the foot was on the gas pedal all night until the final, minute and a half where Dak was taking kneel downs at the 4.
Yeah. The safety was nice to see. I can't remember the last time Dallas actually recorded a safety. So seeing that was nice. I don't remember the last time we had a safety. I couldn't tell you. So that was nice to actually see.
And so I was going to ask Robbie that same question Joe brings up. Does anyone know why CD and Pickens got benched that first series? There was no real indication. Have you heard anything post-game as to why that took place?
This is all rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. But it sounded like they had a pretty good night in Vegas the night before and may have skipped some things. And if this had been any other team, say you're playing the Eagles this week, if that had been the Eagles, I don't care. You start them. You don't waste the series. But because it's the Raiders and I think they already knew what they were going to do, nobody cares. And as you saw, Schottenheimer and them were all good buddies after CD and Pickens scored. So it was a non-issue. But again, if you're playing a good team, I don't care. Let them play.
Well, I do know that Joe is employed by one of the establishments there in Vegas on the Strip. And so I'm kind of curious as to maybe if Joe saw them out late the night before.
Maybe. Probably tried to spike their drinks so they would suck, knowing Joe and how bad he hates Dallas.
I hope he wouldn't do that, but
just messing with you, Joe. Just messing with you.
So listen, moving forward into the rest of the season, really for Dallas, is this the game that kind of turns things around for their entire season, and now they have a shot to make the playoffs? And what do you think happens from here on out?
Well, it doesn't get easier. You've got Philly, I think, this week, and then you got Kansas City on Thanksgiving. So you're really about to see if that was for real or if that was just the Raiders suck. So I'll be happy to see how they do against Philly this week. I I liked it. I did like what I saw last night. Usually watching those games, I can sit there and point out every bad thing that happened, but there was a lot of good in that game last night. So even as a fan and as a capper, I think it was a good game overall by Dallas on both sides of the ball.
Nice. Well, listen, not only did Dallas win last night, but DG's Anaheim Ducks closed out a late night win. Miraculously, to be honest. I mean, they scored in the last 2 seconds to tie the thing up. Let's shift to the focus now to the ice. What's going on with Anaheim?
Yeah, it shows how big of a fan DG is. It was like midnight, and I didn't get a quack text from him. I stayed up and watched this team play. It was awesome. Leo Carlson got kind of hooked. He fell on the ground, tapped it to Troy Terry, smacked 2 seconds to go in the third, and they tied up. And from there on, you knew with that momentum, they were going to take care of business in overtime. And they did just that. Yeah, they're a good team. They're definitely a good team. I'll give them their flowers.
Any other hockey teams that you look at right now, and one, this is a 2-part question, that you're like, hey, listen, this team is going to be in the finals. It's just a matter who they're playing. And 2, is there a team out there that you're like, I'm surprised they're not demoted to the AHL, to be quite frank.
Yeah. I got you an answer for both. Colorado, I think, is legit. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. If they stay healthy going into the playoffs, I don't know who's going to beat them in 7 games, especially if they have home ice advantage. And the other team is a team your guys beat down last night. That's the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, they absolutely look terrible. Absolutely terrible. The announcer said it best last night. He goes, well, Edmonton has pulled their goalie. They have an empty net. He goes, yeah, that net's been empty all night. And he couldn't have been more right.
Yeah. I mean, Stuart Skinner was in goal for them last night, and he has been atrocious. To that point, it doesn't really seem to matter who Edmonton puts in between the pipes. They can't stop a thing. And that defensive front is offensively, they're still scary. And I know that, they got Hyman just returned. So I know that they're starting to get better offensively, but defensively, my God, you let the Sabres hang up 5 on you? Come on.
And it could be, I know they've been on a road trip since last week. I can't remember the last home game they played. So I know they've been on quite a bit of a road trip. So it could have been that, look, we're ready to get back home. Could have been, we're just going to do cardio tonight. That's what it looked like. It looked like they were just out there skating around because Buffalo handled them pretty handily. So we'll see when they get home. But even at home this season, they haven't been good. They haven't been good at all. And they're going to have to figure some things out, especially at the trade deadline. I know there's been rumors, again, grain of salt, about UC Saros potentially being a goalie from Nashville that they target. But, I mean, I've watched UC Saros. I think if he was about 4 inches taller, he'd be a lot better. But when you're 5'9" trying to play goalie, a lot of that's part of your problem. I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
You know what? That's low-hanging fruit. We're not going to make fun of those who are vertically challenged. That's not what I do. We're not going to go there.
No. Not making fun of him. I'm just saying he could probably be a better goalie if God had given him a few more inches.
100%, right? I mean, 100%. Because you go a few inches taller, you get a few inches wider as well. So that's at least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Nate G says the Avalanche fear the Stars, and I remember last year, Dallas did seem to have their number.
They did.
So I think that Dallas can be sneaky good as well. You know who else was phenomenal last night on the ice? Want to take a guess?
On the ice.
The Florida Panthers were amazing last night. Why? Because they were the model pick of the day on the puck line, by the way. So the JT, JustTheStatsSports.com model pick of the day moves now to 5-2 since we started doing this. And tonight, going to the hardwood, taking the Xavier Musketeers. Now, this is crazy to me, simply because the model gives Xavier straight up, just on a win, a 94.3% chance to get that done. right? So this should be very one-sided game according to the numbers and the data and everything else. When you throw in the spread at -9.5, it drops down to just a ridiculous still 84% they're covering that. In fact, the average number that they're covering is 12. So you're getting a ton of value here, especially since the model sides with this one being covered. That play of the day cashed. Rob, I don't know if you heard, but I was throwing some ideas around. It's the holidays, and I thought, let's do a little ladder challenge. Let's get this. Take $10. Let's turn it into $1,500 in 8 days. And maybe I wasn't clear. That ladder challenge is starting tonight. Because last night, of all the nights for Jamal Shed to shed the bed,
Nice.
It's exactly what he did. The guy had made a three-pointer in 19 of the last 20 games. Last night, he attempted one, just a clanker, and that was it. It was pathetic. So we're going to hit the reset button, and that's my fault. That's my fault. We went with Jamal. I thought about maybe playing somebody else who, by the way, Brad Marchand went off last night, which would have cashed the first step of the ladder challenge. We're going to hit the reset button on that. I will have the $10 to $1,500. And you know what? This is how confident I am going forward into this. I don't need to add another 8 days. We're going to do it in 7. We're going to do it in 7. So that being said, just so you know, that short will be out right after this video or right after our show. So stay tuned for that and make sure you have all your notifications on.
So I have a confession.
Uh-oh.
I didn't play shit in that ladder. I pivoted. Didn't say nothing, but I pivoted and put Cole Caulfield for a point with the other, and it was around similar odds. So my ladder is still climbing right now. But
okay, so
I didn't do that because I didn't doubt you. It's because I don't know the NBA well enough, and I hate betting on things I don't know well enough, no matter what the stats say. So yeah, I was like, I'm just going to pivot. I'm going to throw Caulfield in instead. So, yeah. So,
and to your point, that is so much of what I look at is really analytics, data, based on numbers, going with trends, trajectories, matchups, and putting the numbers together so they match up and line up. Last night when I looked at Brad Marchand, just to get a point, I'm like, and it was, again, similar odds, right? It wasn't getting any better. And I just made the decision, went with Shed instead. And yeah.
We both fell for the Marchand trap. I wanted to put him in a point parlay last night, and I pivoted to Clayton Keller. So guess who got their point? Marchand. Keller did not. But I'm just looking at Marchand's stats, and I see he's got goals like in the past whatever many games. And I'm like, one of these games, he's going to go cold. Like usually if they're at like 5 goals in a row, I'm like, okay, it's got to cool off at some point, right? And I thought last night might have been it's a Monday. I think they were playing Vancouver, correct? So that's who they were playing last night. I was like, this might be a weird spot for them. So I didn't play it and then talked myself out of cash.
Speaking of talking, Kimberly, it is the Xavier Musketeers. I do know that. I also know that my son, Xavier, it is just habit. Just habit. I meant no disrespect to the Musketeers. It is Xavier. Xavier.
Hey, how's your family feeling with James Franklin being the next Virginia Tech Hokies head coach? Didn't you say you got family who love the Hokies?
Yeah, but we don't talk.
Okay.
Dude, they're Hokie fans. They're Hokie fans. We don't talk.
Okay. I think it's a good hire for them. ACC, you don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan every year. Florida State sucks. Clemson sucks. It's a good spot for Mr. Can't win the big one.
Well, listen, it's Virginia Tech is where good coaches go to pasture. Unfortunately, a good coach can't play all 11 positions on the field. And
Sure.
And when your mascot is a Hokie, still don't know what that is. Yeah, that kind of just sets the tone. So I do think it's a good spot for him to land and kind of get reestablished in the ACC, gets him out of the limelight from, respectively, it gets him out of the limelight from having to be at like a Penn State and be a powerhouse and do all those things. I think the expectations get immediately lifted off the shoulder, and he can do what he does best, and that's be a good coach. He is a tremendous coach. So, 100%. my banter with Va Tech, as they like to say, is what it is. But yeah, I do think it is a good hire for him. And Joe suggested we should choose a player with more minutes for the ladder challenge next time. Joe, I am confident that you will like tonight's play because it doesn't involve individual players. It's not a player prop based. So we're going to get started the right way. Trust me. We're going to get going. Speaking of getting going, we're right around the corner from Thanksgiving. Do you guys do just a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, turkey, and that's it?
We used to. Sarah loves to cook. It kind of took the tradition from her grandmother. And then with everything that happened with John this summer, we're just like, let's just go to Florida. We just want to go to Florida. We want to leave Tennessee and just go and kind of breathe, go sit on the beach. So we may be going to PF Chang's for all I know for Thanksgiving this year. But
so you might have Gator instead.
People send me that where it's like, look what we're eating. I'm like, okay, I love eating Gator. It's not a slight to me. Gator tastes delicious.
It's delicious. I wasn't.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I get those texts like all the time. I'm like, send me some.
Yeah. Because we're doing something. We're doing a duck tuck goose. Nice. So my wife wants to do a duck, a goose, and a turkey. I don't know why, but we're doing all three. And you can be damn sure that we're going to have this.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Seabass, the only 5-star chef in the game. We all know sports betting is full of bad beats and tough calls, but when it comes to flavor, there's no second guessing. Bassett's Blends is the plus EV lock of every meal. We don't need a stinking model. Crafted with winning spices and bold taste, Bassett's Blends comes in 3 flavors, original, hot, and no salt, that's gonna turn chicken, steak, vegetables, any dish into a can't miss cover every night. With Bassett's Blends, there's no bad beats, no flavor fades, just guaranteed greatness. Check out the link right here where you can pick up your Bassett's Blends for a guaranteed lock every single night.
I love me some Bassett Blends. You know what else I love? I love the Syracuse Orange basketball team tonight to go over 82.5 points. They're playing Monmouth, okay? And to start the season, Syracuse has gone 3 games. They put up 85 on Binghamton, 83 on Delaware State, and 80 on Drexel. That 80-point showing came against the slowest paced team that they have faced all season and probably will face this season alone. Monmouth is a team whose adjusted tempo ranking is of 189. It's right in line with Syracuse, who is slightly higher at 158. And what that simply means is that these two teams are not going to be playing dynamically different. They're both very comfortable pushing the tempo, pushing the ball, and they are comfortable playing at the same speed as the other, is what I'm trying to say. I think that when you have Syracuse, who's ranked 48th overall, according to KenPom, and Monmouth is all the way down at 234, what that screams to me is you're going to have a team who has a willing dance partner, but is better at rebounding, secondary shots, 3-point shooting. This thing is going over 82.5. I love this spot. You can get that at -110. Rob, what?
We're going to go from Monmouth to Mammoth, as in Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard. Celebrini plays the Mammoth tonight, and they're on the second night of a back-to-back, and Celebrini has really come into his own this season. Sharks look like a young upstart team. He has 4 goals and 8 assists in his last 10 games. Utah and San Jose just recently played in October. I think it was October 17th. Celebrini put up a goal and an assist in that one. All we need him to do is get a point. And we're going to pair him with another young guy, Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks. We need him just to get a point. Bedard is another one. He came into his own this season. There'd been a lot of speculation if Chicago would or would not keep him. I think they're definitely going to keep him now. But he has 8 goals and 11 assists in his last 10 games. He's faced Calgary. I hate trying to pronounce that name. 5 times in his career. He has a point in 4 of those 5 games with a goal in 3 straight. So give me Mr. Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard to get 1+ point at -119. For some reason, -120 looks gross, but -119 looks just fine. So I'm going to take it.
I love it. I love it. And I do know how to pronounce it. For all my Canadian fans, it's called Calgary.
I can say that a lot easier than trying to put those other letters together. I don't know what it is. I can't do it. I try it. And
as Kim points out, mispronouncing Xavier could get one excommunicated from the family. Yeah, it's a very Catholic school.
I forget Joe can't play point parlay. So Joe, since you went to see my Cowboys win in person, here's one that.
Listen, speaking of Joe, he always trusted a good Mark and Rob Tuesday. It's the highest rated shows he's heard. And Joe, you've heard correctly.
Yes.
Tuesday and Wednesday. In fact, that's the way they rank: Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the rest of them fall into place depending on the content. But yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the highest ranked shows here on Weekday Wagers, hands down.
Well, Joe, I don't know if you can play solo points, but if you can, look at the New Jersey and Tampa game, and I'm looking at Arseny Grisic, 1+ point at +108. He's taken over for Jack Hughes after he apparently Michael Myers himself at a bar or somebody's dinner the other night. But he has a goal and assist in his last 2 games. He's played he has played Tampa at least once already this season before he was elevated, and he got a goal in that game as well. So I like this kid. I think he's going to have some good minutes with Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt. So look at him for 1+ point at +108 now.
I looked at him too, to be honest. Because I like him to go crazy tonight for his shots on goal. So
yeah, Tampa has let in 13 goals in like their last 3 games as well. So, and Victor Hedman, I think, is going to be out again tonight. So that should be a lot of goals scored in now.
Yeah, and look, Derek, brother, so good to see you. Glad you're back. Hopefully you got that phone all fixed. Glad you're able to join us. You know what time it is, Rob, though? And it's funny because you have him in your point parlay, but it's time for the Daily Dinger. And we've got, well, we say Daily Dinger. That's so baseball, which seems like eons ago. It's time for a little light the lamp. Kyle Connor at +125. The big cat, Alex DeBrincat, +140. Connor Bedard at +140 as well. William Nylander going up to Toronto at +155. And Kirill the Thrill Marchenko at +200. Who do you like on this list? Or are you going off the board?
So I like the first 3. I may or may not have some plays on all 3 of them to score the goal, but I am going to go off the board tonight. And I'm going to go to Jamie Benn. You're welcome, Nate, of the Dallas Stars to get a goal at +525. He should be making his return tonight. And Jamie sets at 399 goals in his career. So why not get goal number 400 on your first night on the ice?
Okay. I like it. It doesn't concern you that this is his sort of comeback game. He maybe get one under his belt before he really starts to pile it on.
If it was +100 or something, absolutely would concern me. But at +525, take some coffee money, take a pizza money, and see what happens.
I like it. I like it.
Not that worried about it.
Listen, this is where you and I have a little synergy because give me Connor Bedard. I was going to go with the big cat, but you know what? I think Bedard guy has been on fire, and I think that he's going to get you your point tonight. I think it's going to come via a goal. He has just been he's been going off. Him and Celebrini both have been just dominant, and I love this matchup for him tonight, especially since the Blackhawks get overlooked all the time. I just think that he has a big game.
Same. I think his line mate, I'm losing my Burakovsky, I think that's his name. Line mate is escaping me now. I get him and Bobrovsky mixed up for whatever reason. But I would look at him too for maybe an anytime go. I think his odds are around plus 200 or greater. Okay. And Joe has a question. Yes, that is the correct name, Joe.
Is that pronounced Gritsock?
Gritsock is what I think how it's pronounced, but I could be totally butchering it. But I think it's Gritsock.
Because if you say that down south, that'll get your butt kicked too.
Get punch, yeah.
Grits suck. Oh, no.
Yeah. Show up to a Cracker Barrel and say that and see what happens.
Let's see. Derek threw in a play. He likes Jalen Suggs over 12.5. Any thoughts on Jalen Suggs?
Not a lot.
Basketball. I'm trying to look up his stuff right now. Jalen Johnson, Jalen Durant, Jalen Brown, Jalen Suggs. Oh, there he is. Oh,
Suggs plays for my Magic. He plays for the Magic.
He does. And he said over 12.5, right?
Yes, over 12.5. That's what he was saying.
So I've got Jalen listed as a game time decision because, hold on, I'll tell you why here in just a second. Where did you go? Right groin soreness. Don't know exactly. That is it. Anyway, so I think he's cleared it in his last 4 games straight. So I like him, especially with his usage being fairly consistent. Game time decision. So hopefully he plays, and hopefully the groin injury doesn't restrict or limit him from. That's the only thing that scares me, man. If a groin injury, you can make a wrong. You can juke somebody, and next thing you know, you're not walking. It's the only thing that scares me there.
And you may look tonight in that game if you want to pivot. Yes, I'm giving an NBA prop. I know I'm drunk. Will Richard, former Florida Gator, going to Orlando tonight, where he kind of been around that area. You could look at him and think his line, 8.5 points. He's cleared that in 6 of his last 7. So I wouldn't mind looking at Mr. Will Richard to go over his points tonight coming back to Florida.
Okay. I like that. TJ gave us some hockey news saying that Nylander was getting yelled at during practice, and it was all over the Toronto media. He answers tonight. So, Berube.
I never take Nylander because he always lets me down. Not saying he will. I pivoted to Tavares in that one. But Nylander definitely could, especially if he's been yelled at, because I don't like getting yelled at either.
Well, yeah. So I was going to go with Nylander always lets you down, kind of like the Toronto Maple Leafs always let their fans down in the playoffs. But I didn't say it. I didn't go there. Say it.
At this point, at least they're making the playoffs. The Preds don't know what the hell they're doing with life. So
and you know what? I actually like the Tavares look as well. I think from a shots on goal standpoint, him and Gritzik, I say Gritzik, are really 2 good looks. If you wanted to put a shots on goal parlay together, two or more shots on goal parlay, I like that look as well. DG's throwing in that he loves a little Desmond Bain over 9.5 rebounds and assist. And
a lot of love in that Magic game tonight.
I'm telling you. And Derek gave us. That's why I was like, wait a minute. What day is this? You threw me for a loop, Derek. He's calling his saloon shot a little early. We've got the Woody Marks anytime touchdown. I'm thinking that's what that's supposed to be. James Conner anytime touchdown. Josh Allen under 32. Under 32.5 rushing. And the Bills at -5.5. That's at plus 1,500. We will. Yeah. And then he puts in here, he says, I'm a little early. All right. No, listen, I love the confidence. Love that you're getting that in now. Especially, I think with well, I know with James Conner anytime touchdown odds, those things can plummet the closer you get to Sunday. So you are in at plus 1,500. We have your saloon shot in. I think this is probably the earliest we've ever had a saloon shot in to it. So
I don't know.
The saloon shots off the rails, Scott. But you know what? In all fairness, Scott does it like all in one episode. He just like machine guns you all in one shot.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Derek, let's go. You've got your saloon shot entry in. Robbie, wow, we've already gone 30 minutes.
Hey.
Anything tonight that besides the point parlays and that sort of thing, anything that you're really got is going to have your eye?
I'm just going to be watching a crap ton of hockey and then looking at Robbie's radar. We did pretty well on that last week. T. Higgins came through for us. Drake London came through for us. Josh Jacobs got voided, depending on where you got it at. Mine got voided since he got hurt. And then the only one that let us down was Egbuka. He was the one that kind of let us down. So I was really happy with the 4 guys I selected and see if we can get better again this week.
I'm going to be doing a ton of homework tonight because it's pretty apropos that Derek throws in his saloon shot on a Tuesday because as Miss White points out,
she does.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you the first 3 mug holder, because one in each hand wasn't enough. Now she wants to look like one of those Oktoberfest beer ladies going through the tents holding all the steins. Kimberly White, who gets into the saloon for the 3rd time in 4 weeks. I can tell you that I gave a very loud chuckle and laugh when I saw her posting on X of, hey, I made it in the 3rd time in 4 weeks. Hey, better days ahead. How did you do this week? I'm like, that one hurt. That one. But it's so true because I died again. I died again on this damn thing. And yeah, I could talk about being in the Legends Lounge and twice over there, but it's the saloon that is keeping me out. And I need to start getting in there. And you know what? I just might go the Derek route at this point and put a parlay together and get me in the saloon.
I'll be glad when we can do that again because I hate doing these first touchdown scores, if I'm completely honest.
It says the guy who's already in the saloon. Whatever. I'm not doing it. I'll get in. I will get in. And yes, Joe, there's only one first person to get in the saloon, and that's Joe. We now have our first 3-time winner in the saloon. And I am with the rest of us. I am just on the outside looking in. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. If you could do us a favor, please hit that like button on the way out. It certainly helps us grow, and we have been growing incredibly. It's surprising. We're so grateful, so happy, and appreciate all of it. Rob, I do know that you have more than one pick for tonight. Where can people find those plays for you?
Oh, at this place called justthestatsports.com. We have just about, I think we all have a play on the hockey tonight. At least you, me, and the model. I think between the 3 of us, there's a play on there. So I would definitely go over there. Promo code DATA100 for 50% off your first month.
I love it. Yeah, all the college football and the NFL projections all went up today. So I know that those are out there. Head on over, check it out. It's honest to God, it is amazing. And yes, as Derek says, he loves that place. So get on over, put the model to your advantage. It's good. It's good. With that, again, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Be kind to one another. Make sure you join us right here tomorrow for Robbie's Radar. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss that one. That's right here tomorrow, Weekday Wagers, 2:00 Eastern. We'll see you there. Be kind.